Hey, this is Coach Rob, and I've been sitting around watching all this negative action around the Voters' Right Act and making it easier for folks to vote as opposed to harder. Certain states are going out of their way, and certain groups are going out of their way to make it harder for urbanites to vote. So it must be important to them for you not to vote. So what are some ideas that we have that we could use that we could stop worrying about the minions and the morons looking to restrict voter access? I mean, when you compound that and all of the propaganda networks that are just making it harder, it does really seem like they don't want you to vote, which should make you want to vote just out of protest of all of their negativity. So what are some things that we can do this year to make the process fun, so that we can just go vote and just be done with it and leave all the BS around alone? When you think about it, the Democrats have been bull jiving, keep it clean, around Voters' Right Act, the Voters' Right Act since 1964, right? So every few years they kick this can down the road and they refuse to make whatever they're trying to do permanent. So they must not want you to have permanent voting rights either. So it must be, as long as you're useful to them as a group, they'll continue to let you have it. And you know where the Republicans stand. You know where the Trump minions, you know where they stand on this issue. So what can you do? On the internet, you can find if your company or your boss is donating to all these fools that's holding up the process, right? So getting that information is pretty easy. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to figure out if your company or your boss or the people who manage your firm, if they're contributing to these a-holes that are standing in the way of progress, or just standing in the way of you voting in general. And then this is what I want you to do. I want you to participate in the early voting process, right? So every voting season, you can vote early. It's like 2 or 3 weeks before the general election. So don't be on CP time and wait till the last minute to go vote on that day where the lines are going to be crazy. Vote early. There you go. Step 1, vote early. And then if it's going to be a problem, listen, I know you'll call off for something real minor anyway. You want to go to the baseball game in the middle of the day. You know, Martin Luther King Day, you want to go see your basketball team play downtown at 2 o'clock. You'll call off. So call off and go vote. So what? You know, hey, call off, go vote, have brunch, go to the park and have a barbecue, make the day of it, keep the kids out of school, just make a whole day around the process. You don't really need this hassle. So, step 1, figure out if your boss is one of these a-holes or your company is one of these jokers that's supporting all this negativity. 2, take a day off and go vote, and then go do something fun after you go vote. Celebrate the fact that you voted. 3, if you live in one of these states that have an open primary, go vote against that person who's standing in the way of you voting. Right, so you know who that person is. You know who that senator is, that congressperson is. Make sure you give them a negative sign. Make sure you go give them a thumbs down. Because in an open state, you don't have to be. You can go tell them, "Hey, I'm a Republican today," and go in there and vote against their ass. Who cares? Let's make some noise in 2022. Let's stop being passive. Stop waiting on Joe Biden to deliver on this. Cause is he really trying? Let's assume that he's trying. Then there's some Democrats standing in the way too. So there's got to be some contingent of Democrats that don't want you behind the vote either. So the hell with them too. Go make some noise in 2022. So to summarize, 1, vote early. Participate in the early voting process. Don't be on CPT time in 2022 with regards to you voting. You could be late anywhere else, but go vote early. Get it out the way. Step 2, If you work for a Republican, make sure you call off that day you go vote. Or take that PTO to keep telling you to roll for it. Make sure you schedule that and use that day. Make sure you get paid for it. And go vote. Take your kids out of school, to hell with it. Take your wife out, your husband out, your girlfriend out, whoever. Call off, go vote, go to brunch, have a barbecue, have a picnic. Step 3, if your state has an early open primary, like in Wyoming, here's a Trumper running against Liz Cheney. I'm not a Liz Cheney supporter. What the hell? Go be a Republican that day and give Liz a thumbs up and Trump a thumbs down. Do it. Be a good American. Make some noise. Protest.